tell me a little bit about this conflict you have with your mother?
Yeah, I guess like the short form is that I was at school one day, she had come up to visit, and my husband was home working from home. He went next door to help the neighbor with her computer, which I had called him in the morning and asked him to go help the neighbor out with her computer. And so when he went over, I guess he was over there a lot longer than he told my mom he would be, and she came over and told him to come home, and then accused him of infidelity, basically, and not nicely. I mean, granted, I haven't heard her side of the story, but I'm pretty sure when my husband said she screamed and yelled and swore and told him basically what a shit he is, and that she suspected he was, you know, acting inappropriately with the neighbor.
How does it make you feel to know that your mom thinks this way about your husband?
I'm really angry. Like, my husband and I have been married for 11 years, and you always hear those stories about women who have, oh, I never knew, I'm so embarrassed, I can't believe it. And I don't feel like that. I don't believe it for a minute. I think my mom is wrong. And I also kind of am struggling with the fact that I don't think she should have spoken to him like that. That she didn't respect him. And that showed. She doesn't respect him, and that showed in the way she thought that she could speak to him.
Right. So you feel like there's a conflict between your husband and your mother?
I feel like there's a conflict between my mother and anybody born with a penis. Like, if you're a man, you're probably a shithead. And she's just gonna wait until she can prove it. And that's how she lives her life, that's how she conducts her life. She treats my son poorly, and she treats my husband poorly. And I think now that I'm a little bit older, I see things that she does more clearly, and frankly, I don't like it. I don't know what to do about it.
Right.
Like, she's a grandmother to my children, and I don't want her in my house anymore. So I haven't spoken to her. So I don't really know. I'm very conflicted with that, because what I really want is to have nothing to do with her and to protect my husband and my son from somebody who's so bitter. But I don't really know if that's fair for my kids or not.
That sounds like you have a lot on your plate. Obviously, you've been thinking about this a lot, and it's really affecting you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the frustrating thing, because I just told you, I don't want to deal with this right now. I'm too busy, and yet it's always in the back of my mind.
Right.
But at the same time, I feel like the cooling off period between my sister-in-law and I was really beneficial. So I sort of am torn between wanting to just call my mom and just deal with it, and knowing if I did that now, enough cooling off time hasn't happened yet. So I'm not really sure how to go forwards with it. And I don't even know if it's okay to not have a relationship with your mother.
So do you feel like you want to break off a relationship with her, or deep down you know that she's your mother? And
deep down, I don't want a relationship with her. I've had a relationship with her for the sake of my children, and after these last couple of visits, watching the way she treats my son, that was the purpose of why I was having a relationship with her, and I watched she treats him poorly.
can you elaborate on how she treats him poorly?
I think partly it's in relation to how she treats my daughter, for example. Like, she treats my daughter really nice, she talks sweetly to her, and to my son she yells at him, and, you know, for example, something my daughter wouldn't get in trouble for doing, he would get into trouble for doing. So that's not, you know, as a parent, you can't treat your children like that. It's damaging to them. And so for my mother, who's a therapist, to come into my home and to treat my children in a way that I know as a parent is damaging, she should know better. But she doesn't see it. I think she's honestly blind to it.
Right.
like I'm more calm talking to you right now, so this is probably how I should be able to talk to her. But this is not how I would talk to her. So that's kind of interesting to think about it, like how I'm talking to you versus I just wouldn't even think to have the conversation the same way with her. But I probably should. Because I'm not like angry at you,
Right.
but I would be angry at her if I talked to her.
And you think that anger would show?
Yeah. Yeah, and then if it showed, then she would just react to my anger, and she wouldn't react to the important thing, which is what I was trying to say. So it's kind of an interesting idea. But
Where do you think her discrepancy comes from by treating females and males differently?
I think it just comes from, well, one of the things she yelled at my husband was that she sees this all the time in her clients. So she sees clients who are unfaithful, or she sees female clients who've been treated poorly by their husbands. And I think it's just completely colored her judgment. She
So-
now sees that all men are going to do that.
Right.
And I kind of don't feel like, what am I going to just tell her that? She'll be like, oh, I realize that now and I won't do that anymore. Like, I think it's so embedded in her that she doesn't even, and she's oblivious to it.
And you think through her work she has painted this worldview that's different than it was before?
Yeah, I think so. I think she's just, I think she's bitter. You know, she's a single older woman, and I don't think she even understands what it's like to have, or remember what it's like to have a young family. And I don't know, maybe my dad was not the type of husband that my husband is. Like, so maybe her experiences with her husband were different. But I know it's very difficult to, I guess that's the thing, I am contemplating having a relationship with her. And it's not easy because I don't know if that's really fair to my kids. But
Do you think she's aware of this discrepancy and how she treats males and females?
I don't know. I think I'd probably have to ask her, you know, if I talk to her.
Somehow she
Yeah.
should.
I'm kind of frustrated, like, I don't know what you think about this, but I mentioned this to a couple different people, and while they agreed, like, that was sort of shocking that she would speak so rudely to my husband, they sort of seemed to, like, defend her position that she had meant well, that she was just trying to look out for her daughter's best interest, and, I don't know, I kind of reject that idea, like, even though I guess it makes, you know, she wasn't out to just be mean to my husband, but at the same time, does she think I'm like 2 years old, that I need that kind of protection, like that aggressive protection from my husband? Like, he's not that type of guy, like he's a nice, really nice guy. And so I don't really appreciate that.
So you are considering different approaches to take with this situation. So one of the options is to give it some time, take a break. Obviously that worked for you in the past. Give it about a month before you talk with them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, with your sister-in-law, you maybe didn't confront the issue, right? So you waited for a month,
Yeah.
and you spoke with her, but about other things,
Yeah.
coffee and stuff like this.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, just waiting, there will be something beneficial for that to calm down, but you're right. With my sister-in-law, we never really talked about what happened. We just agreed, we saw each other's side, where I don't really think that can happen with my mom. So,
Why do you think that can happen?
I think the situation with my sister-in-law was an isolated incident. It's not likely to kind of repeat itself. You know, it was around her wedding, and there was other emotions connected to that. Whereas this thing with my mom is just gonna keep going and happening. It's gonna repeat itself if it's not kind of addressed. So there's sort of, I guess, there's no hope of just letting time smooth it over. The problem will have to be addressed.
so busy right now, obviously you have other things on your mind,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I do. I have, and I feel like it's easy to just ignore it because I'm busy with school and my family and stuff like that. But I kind of feel with her, like, she's put me in a situation where I have to choose between her and my family, and that's a no-brainer. Like, a mother who you have a really difficult relationship versus your children and your husband and your career that you're pursuing through school and stuff, like, don't make me choose, Mom. It's a no-brainer. Like, if something is not working here, it's you. You're off the table. But I feel like that's kind of harsh, but at the same time, I feel pretty justified to cut that tie with her, I guess.
So how do you think you're going to approach her next?
I really don't know. I don't want to see her in person. I don't want to. I wonder maybe if I should write it down. Because then I can be more calm, like I'm calmer with you talking about it and less emotional, and then I would be able to sort of edit out things that are just sort of.
So jotting down your thoughts and feelings. I always find that a good strategy to really get everything out of my head onto paper.
Yeah.
And then be able to talk with the person about those thoughts and ideas in a calm manner.
Yeah. I like that idea. Actually, I hadn't really thought about that. I think that's a really good idea because now when I'm frustrated that it's coming into my mind, that makes me more angry. Like if I'm studying for an exam and then it pops into my head, I get angry that that's taking away from my focus on my studies, and then it reminds me of the situation that I'm angry about. Whereas if I start writing down feelings, I can take out the emotion when I talk to her, and it'll help me deal with it now. So I can deal with it that way.
Great, that's great. So it sounds like you're brainstorming already to deal with this issue.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if, when you said you are thinking about cutting off the relationship, if you really meant what you said about that.
I kind of think I do, but now I'm thinking about like writing a letter, and then maybe that's how I feel right now, for sure. And so instead of trying to decide what I'm gonna like do, what I'm gonna do about it is I'm not gonna see her right now. And maybe that's all I'll say, is like, what I'm gonna do with this is write a letter and tell her that right now I'm not interested in a relationship with her, rather than having to decide I have one or I don't. I definitely don't want one like we have right now. And I don't feel like anything's changed to change it, so maybe just, I'm offering you no relationship right now, but not kind of being so harsh as to say you're cut out of my life forever. I don't know.
I think I like your thought process right now because you are breaking this situation down. What steps can you take? And so I think this is a really positive thing that you're doing. You're already cutting it down to baby steps. Okay, this is what I'm going to do first. This is the second one. So I think you're on a good start.
Yeah, I feel really good about that. I feel like that's, I'm not avoiding the problem that way. And my personality is really like confrontational. I don't want a confrontation with them. Our history is just to fight. So she stops talking, I keep yelling, fights over. So yeah, I don't know. Not even talking to her at all. But not, like I had thought if I don't talk to her, I talk to her or don't. That was the only way I saw it before I talked to you. Like, and I didn't like either one of those options. Didn't want to talk to her and didn't want to let me talk to her. So yeah, I feel like now I have a bit of a